Hello dear students. Lfhp Kankvali College Kankvali. Assistant Teacher Mahadeshwar MB. Students, yesterday we discussed about the overall presentation or overall planning that we have to do in this academic year. Today, as yesterday I told you, we are going to see activity sheet format. Activity sheet format, see the title. Now onwards we will not call it question paper. We are going to see or say activity sheet. Why we have to use this word? Let me tell you that first, and then we are going for the actual format of activity sheet. Actually, in question paper, you are dealing with WH type questions. Passage will be there, the same norm will be there here also in activity sheet, but in case of interrogation, they have changed the pattern. Usually we are using WH type questioning for interrogation, but in activity sheet format they will offer you activities instead of WH type questioning. For example, tabling means complete the table, complete the verb, fill in the blanks, complete the sentence. Such a sort of activities they will offer you, means in one straight instruction they will offer you that question instead of asking WH type question. So that's why it is called activity sheet. Now we are going to see actually what is the format of activity sheet. Students, my advice to you is, here whatever we will discuss, you have to keep that in your heart, and by pausing this particular video you have to take all the things in written. In your notebook, the very opening page of yours will be of your introduction, name and all, and from the second page of your notebook of English you have to start to write activity sheet format. So in this video you will get that. If you ask that, then definitely I will offer you separate PPT, means only the PDF file of activity sheet format. Just you have to write that again in your notebook, but do remember that that must be in your notebook. So are you ready with? Maharashtra State Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education Pune, they have launched this format of the activity sheet for 11th. Section 1, that is of prose, and that is of 34 marks in total. So usually in classroom what we are doing, first of all I dictated everything to the students and then we are having the discussion. But as it is video lecturing method, we have to use some additions and changes in that. Now instead talking later, first one by one we are going to discuss. I think that will be much more easier. If you feel that you will forget anything, you have to note down that, okay? Or you can re-listen, re-look this video and by the many times, umpteen times, how much at that point where you could understand, at that moment you can stop, but otherwise many times you have to see. If you feel that you can forget, that you are unable to understand, see the video again and again. So section 1 is based on prose and that is of 34 marks. In that what we are going to study: reading for comprehension, language study, summary, note making and mind mapping. So reading for comprehension, one by one I am going to explain that. Reading for comprehension, what that means, they will offer you the passage, textual passage, unseen passage. You have to read that and you have to comprehend that, try to understand that, and in that, with that understanding you have to solve all the question answers. Instead question, now onwards I will use the word activity. To remember, whenever I will use the word activity, specifically that means question. Okay, if I wanted to say that any kind of different activity or project work I will offer you, in that case I will classify activity as project work, separate work, and otherwise later on whatever the activity word will come towards you, that indicates question. So I think I clarified activity, that means the question. So they will offer you passage, either unseen, seen, and you have to read that and you have to try to comprehend that, and based on that you have to solve all the activities. Next one, language study. In that grammar, vocabulary, and plus two other things would be there. Summary. You know that in last I think in 10th standard you have solved this question. Unseen passage would be there, and based on that you have to solve the summary of it. Next thing is note making. I think before going for note making, let me tell you what is meant by summary. As we are not face to face, I am unable to understand whether you deeply saw, whether you know that topic deeply or not. But summary, what that, let me clarify in very short terms. Summary means unseen passage would be of 250 or 300 words. You have to write 1/3 of that. The short listing that passage, lengthy passage, is called summary. But short listing does not mean anything of your mind you can insert in that. It is not. Summary, what that mean, whatever given in that passage, you have to write the shorter of it. For example, suppose you have seen 3 hours movie and coming back to home, and your mother asked that yes, you have seen the movie, now tell me that 3 hours movie. So will you use or waste your 3 hours to narrate that story? Obviously not. You are summing up that within 3 minutes, is it? So what you have done, you have just catch up the important points, important sub points, and then you launch that towards your mother. So this is called summary. Okay, that only we have to apply in case of passage. So how to do that and all separately we will see that when I will teach you summary writing. Definitely I will tell you that, but do remember that not a single topic is difficult, and don't have air also. So you must have balanced personality this year, that don't feel that I know everything and don't feel that I'm not knowing anything. So balance should be there. What that yesterday means, yesterday in previous lecture I mentioned that yes, I can do. So yes, definitely we are going to deal with each and every topic of English in best of the best manner, including summary. Next one is note making or mind mapping. Note making, let me tell you what that. Summary in that unseen passage would be, and you have to write that just only important point, but note making in that you have not to miss a single important point, even examples. So in note making there will be 3 types. One that is table completion, second one that is tree diagram completion. Usually actually note making of tree diagram is after reading that short para or paragraph or one passage, you have to shortlist that the heading, what could be the heading of the same, about what which topic that passage is given. You have to identify that, and then you have to classify the main points of the same, and then you have to write sub points. Suppose types of species, then heading will be what types of species, then which types have been mentioned over there, that you have to classify. So that diagram would be there, that is called tree diagram. Under that you have to write examples, then their features, whatever given over there, you have to just convert that into diagrammatic presentation, is called tree diagram. So first one of that is table completion, second one of that is a tree diagram completion or a total tree diagram drawing. Both would be there. So third type of the note making is finding the main notes. and that is in vertical format. A table is horizontal and vertical both. Then tree diagram also vertical and horizontal, but note making is completely vertical formatting of the same, where they would give you some of the main points and all, and some part you have to complete, but in that you have to rewrite whatever they have given and what you have failed. So both the things you have to write, nothing you have to cancel. Even in table and tree diagram also, it is compulsion on you that you have to write everything whatever given by them and what you have failed or you are going to fail, and underline is must. So that is called note making. Some other aspects we will see, but in that particular lecture when I will teach you in thorough manner what is meant by note making and everything. This is the introductory part, that's why I am just only touching that. At least you should know what we are going to study. Then mind mapping. This is very interesting term. Mind mapping, what that means? Suppose you are doing, you wanted to do something, then before doing that you should know or you should plan that at your heart. You should imagine that what are you going to do. For example, suppose you wanted to travel to Mumbai, Goa. Not now, obviously, I know it is COVID-19, we should not forget, but suppose after that or before that you have gone for many travel schedules you have done, or picnics you have done. So while doing that, usually what you have done, thought and went for, that was not done, no. First of all, what that you decided the place first, you thought on that at your heart, so many thoughts you have created. This is called mind mapping. And then you have done the paper working, is it? Paper working, that is later. So that is called mind mapping, that in our heart we are having the map that what I am going to do, is it? Place you fixed first, then you safety matter you have looked for, with whom you are going to, then which vehicle you are, which day, which time, where you would spend that time, how many days, where would you take halt, what about food. So everything you have thought at your heart, and that is called mind mapping. Okay, so that also we will see, but specifically when I will teach you specifically that topic at that moment. But now I think you have got good understanding of reading comprehension, language study, summary, note making, mind mapping. Now we are going for next. Question number 1A. Read the extract and complete the activities given below. I know that I am talking very speedier because so many days already we have lost, so we have to be quicker now. So listen that this video many times, then you can understand. But I just wanted to remind you that everything should be in your notebook. Okay. Question 1A. Read the extract and complete the activities given below. So they would offer you one extract, and that is textual extract from textbook they would choose, and below that they would offer you activities, and that is for 12 marks. And how many words would be there in that passage? Carrying 275, 300, that much limit would be there. Then A1, that is for 2 marks. So A1 activity, that's called global understanding. So let me tell you, A2, I will definitely explain what is meant by global understanding. Let me tell you the formatting first. A2, complex factual, that is 2 marks. A3, inference or interpretation or analysis, that's for 2 marks. A4, personal response, that's for 2 marks. A5, that is for language study, 2 marks. A6, that is for vocabulary. So now I will explain you what is meant by A1 global understanding. See, they have called, why they have given A1 this formatting? Because they have called not question but activities. So this is activity number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why it is called A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6. So in exam, what you have to do? You have to write question 1 in the margin, then you have to write A, and exactly below you have to just simply mention A1 activity, Now let me tell you what is meant by global understanding. Global understanding, what that means. After reading that passage, you have to connect that passage knowledge with your global knowledge. What do you know about the significance of that knowledge? What is happening around you? Can you correlate that? That you have to check, and this is called global understanding. Okay, so what sort of activities they would ask you? First one, mention the theme of this passage. What is the first one? Mention the theme of the passage. Actually, the whole topic would not be there. Specifically, you have to think that what is the theme of, not of the whole topic. You know that the topic is about this. You know that. But no, specifically in exam point of view, you must think that in this passage, what sort of theme I can connect, I can find. Okay, and then only you have to write that probable option. And see, in global understanding they would give you this sort of find out the right thing. So 4 options would be there for you, and you have to choose 2 among them or 1 among them. Clear cut instruction would be there that whether mostly you have to catch out 2 statements, because that is for 2 marks, and hence obviously for 2 marks. Or they would ask you true and false, or they would ask you weight completion, or they would ask you table completion. Any sort of pattern would be any, but the formatting should be based on global understanding. So I think you have understood what is meant by global understanding. Then A2, complex factual. Factual, what that mean? Let me tell you that first. Factual means what? In that given passage or extract means passage, you would get that answer in straightforward manner. That is called factual, based on the fact you got. Complex factual, what that mean? The answer would be scattered in that passage. Sometimes it is carrying 2 or 3 lines and design in one para, or sometimes answer is scattered in that both the paragraphs or 3 paragraphs. You have to identify that and then you have to convert that. That's why it is called complex factual. Here, which pattern they could ask you? Table filling, true false, fill in the blanks, complete the sentence, offer the reasoning. Third one, A3, inference, interpretation and analysis. Here what that answer would be there definitely in the passage, but you yourself will find out and convert that in your own words. So for that, which activity they are going to see? That find the reasons. After reasoning, they would ask you that guess the meaning of this particular sentence. Means they would choose any sentence from the passage and ask you to find out the meaning of the same passage and same sentence, and you have to write that in one paragraph. That is for how many marks? 2 marks. This is called inference, interpretation or analysis. Inference, interpretation, what that means? You have to write your own opinion about it. Opinion does not mean you can write anything of your heart. Inference, what that means? You should think what is given in that passage and you have to try to convert that in your own words. That's called A3, inference, interpretation. Then A4, personal response. The answer wouldn't be in the passage. You have to think on it and you will reply by your own heart. This time you got the chance that you can write your own opinion in personal response. For example, they would ask you that suppose the passage is about travel. Then they would ask you that mention your favorite place to visit and write some probable reasons. I repeat, mention your favorite place to have picnic or to spend leisure time and mention the reasons behind it. So here you have proper scope to write or to deliver your own thought, your personal opinion about. I think you understood here personal response. Then A5, that language study. In language study, they haven't chosen the word grammar, they have used the word language study. So you have to understand that they want what from you. They want you should know about syntax, sentence pattern. You should know how to apply different rules like simple, complex, compound, active voice, passive voice. So by that way they wanted to know from you that grammatically how much perfect you are. And here also there will be the pattern, activity pattern, and they would ask you instead WH type questions, spread asking would be there, convert this statement into simple, or remove to, or such a sort of use though, remove but. Sometimes they would offer you options also, options, but if it is lengthy sort of or too much difficult, then only we will offer you options in that grammar part. Next one, A6. A6 is vocabulary based on words, either synonyms, antonyms. Then they would ask you adjectival forms, such a sort of, or noun, convert that into adjective, adjective into verb. So that formation you have to do in vocabulary. Or simply they would ask you match the following, for in the extract some words would be there and their meanings, just columns you have to match. So in that manner would be the formatting of A6 vocabulary. I think you have got good understanding of question 1A, and below that in what manner 12 marks are getting distribution: A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6. So total will be 12 marks. B now, question 1B. A already we have seen, that is related passage. B will be language study, but this time check here, non-textual grammar. Previously in A6, question 1A, in that A6 activity, that was textual grammar, means based on the passage grammar would be there, but in B segment language study, non-textual grammar would be there, and that's for 4 marks. In that B1, see here now B is given because it is of B segment, and that's why they have given B1. B1, and what sort of questioning would be there or activity? Do as directed / transformation of sentence. So do as directed, that formatting would be there, or transformation, that means simple, compound, in that manner. So how many would be? That is for 3 marks. Or do as directed, articles they would ask you, prepositions they would ask you, that sort of. So either that is for 3 sentences for 3 marks, like will be the distribution. B2 is very important. B1 you could do, but B2, that is spot the error. If your grammar is perfect, that's why yesterday's lecture carried one sentence. If you have listened that very carefully, you understood that one, you remember that one sentence I purposely use over there. Of any language, what is the backbone? That grammar is the backbone, and that's why if you know the grammar very well, spot the error would be easiest path for you. And do remember, in the exams like MPSC, UPSC, staff selection, they have purposely used this method. They would ask you some English based, means English subject based questioning, and they spot the error is compulsory question in such a competitive exams. So if you wanted to crack them, you must be good or alert in grammar of English language. So spot the error is very important, not only for 11-12 but for your competitive exam. In what manner we have to find, that also we will discuss. Nothing, any kind of special discussion should be necessary if your grammar is perfect, because if you know tense, if you know direct indirect speech, you know that what kind of sentence would be in which tense. what kind of sentence would be in direct speech, indirect speech, or voices. If you know that perfectly, then you can easily find out what is the error. Error means mistake in that particular sentence. Just simply here you have to identify what is the error. So by that way, question 1a plus b, that is equal to what? 12 plus 4 is equal to 16 marks. So I think here they have given 34 marks, that 16 marks for question 1 AB, that distribution you collected. Now question 2A, that we are going for. Read the extract and complete the activities given below. By that way you could understand this is again for what? Passage answer, passage activities and their answer. But this time it is which passage? Unseen passage. This time it is unseen passage. So question 1A is based on seen passage, and this question 2 based on unseen passage. And again the limitation check that 275 to 300 words, that is the limitation for unseen passage. And formatting is same, so I am not going to repeat that, okay, because already in question 1A I clarified that very clearly. So if I will repeat here, a wastage of time would be there. So better the same formatting, just only in case of which extract? Unseen extract. Extract again, that means passage. So here again you would get 12 marks, and same pattern, only unseen extract is the new thing. Totaling will be 12. In question 2 also you will have B. Already we mentioned that at the very top in the very first slide of the activity sheet format discussion. It is related summary writing. It is what? Summary writing, and that's for 3 marks. And see what sort of activity would be there below. Write the summary of the above extract with a suitable title with the help of the given points or hints. Write the summary of the above extract with a suitable title with the help of the given points or hints. They would offer you obviously the points and hints. Based on that you have to recreate that summary. And titling you have to do. Up to last year title has 1 mark, but for you there is no marking. Title hadn't or now in a day's title hasn't any kind of marking, but that should be there compulsory. It is you must give title for your shortlisted passage or paragraph, which is called summarized paragraph. Okay. Now see, in question 2 not only A and B, but which segment is there? C segment, note making and mind mapping. Already we talk about it, and here they have given specifically one thing, completion task, means you have to fill up that. But as I told you before, you have to write the complete structure of the same. You are not going to only write completed thing, means what fill in the blanks. You have to only that much you should not write. You have to rewrite the tabling or tree diagram or the note making, means what? Finding the notes, that formatting, and that's why it is for 3 marks. What sort of activity they would ask you in note making or mind mapping? Read the given extract and complete the given activity as per the instructions. Read the given extract and complete the given activity as per the instructions. As very straight activity they have given you. Next thing, one thing I wanted to tell you, that up to now you have taken textbooks, so start to read them. By that way you can correlate this activity sheet format with the textbook, and by that way you can understand what is the different sort of classification of the topics. First one, prose section you can get, then you would get poetry section, and some new terms are added in 3rd unit and 4th unit. So that is also very important. In 3rd you would get note making, mind mapping, and by that way you can read that. So my advice to you is that no doubt we are going to start or launch videos, but at home you have to read each and every topic very carefully. Then only you can correlate what is going on through this activity sheet format, what is expected to activity sheet format. Totalizing is given over here. Question 2a plus b plus c, 12, 3, 3, and that is 18 marks. Then it is very important to see question 2b, scheme of marking. In what manner the paper checker is going to check your answer? That is very important for you. Now see B, question 2b, summary of the unseen passage, and that's for 3. So what is the classification of these 3 marks? In what manner we are going to check your answer? First, covering all important points, that's for 1 mark. See that this is very important discussion, so don't lose your patience and don't lose your concentration. In advance, at the very starting of the year, I am telling you what is expected from you in that answer. So later on, don't tell me that I don't know about it. Okay, so it is very clear and precise discussion for you. That is very important. What is expected? Many times you are asking us that what is expected in that answer. So yes, this is expected in that answer. In summary, covering all important point, that's very essential, and that's for 1 mark. Next point would be language and vocabulary, that's for 1 mark. So what is in the language and vocabulary? Whether you have just copied and pasted the passage, that's just only copy pasting, and you can't get the marks. Language and vocabulary means what? In shortest precise way are you able to write the same whole lengthy passage into shortlisted para, 1/3 of it, or not? Are you able to use different lines, means simple, complex, compound? Can you use the vocabulary? Can you understand what is the meaning of idiom? Because in summary, let me tell you one thing, that in summary, suppose in original passage idioms, phrases have been used then by the poet or that writer, then you should not rewrite that. You should cancel that idiom, because idiom and phrase, why they have chosen by the writer? To enhance the attention, to enhance the interest of reader in his passage. But in summary, you should omit them, you should cancel them, and you have to understand whether you are understanding idiom. Then only you can understand what he wanted to say, and then only you can convert that into short, precise manner. And that's why language and vocabulary carries 1 mark. Grammar, that is essential, that's for 1 mark. Total is 3. Question 2c, again, what is expected from you? See, note making, mind mapping, 3 marks. First one, as previous, covering all essential or important points, 2 marks. Check that out. But as per the instructions, otherwise you would say that they have whatever they have given, I have written, so give me 2 marks. It's not like. You have tried that one. This is only the manner or having the proper structure of that passage or answer, but you have to fill up that as per the instruction. That carries 2 marks. Then presentation, is your handwriting good? Have you underlined that? Have you drawn that tabling correctly? Where there is marking, for example finding the main points, then whether you have done that 1, 2, 3, 4 formation, everything is included in presentation. That is for 3 marks. Now we are going for section 2, and that is very important, poetry, and that is for 14 marks. See that they have given you whole 14 marks for poetry. And by this titling you can understand what is expected from you. I think last in 10th standard you have studied appreciation method. So this year the same pattern they applied, but in very precise manner. They have given you ready-made points. Just whatever you understood about that poem, you should write that in that given point. So that is called appreciation. I will definitely, when I will teach you any poem, we will see that in depth, but I am just only telling what is the meaning of appreciation and all. Question 3a, read the extract and complete the activities given below, and that's for 10 marks. Scene extract carrying how many lines? 10 to 15. Check that. A1, global understanding, 2 marks. I'm not going to repeat here what is the meaning of global understanding. I just mention what sort of activities would be. A2 also the same, like question 1, 2. A3 the same. A4, that is new happening here because it is poem, not prosaic. A5, that is also new segment because it is poetry. So let me tell you first. A1, already I mentioned what is the meaning of global understanding, so I am not going to repeat it. I just only say that what sort of activities would be there in A1. First, complete the verb or find out the lines or expressions. Expression does mean the same, lines. Are you getting? Expression does not mean any different concept. Expressions, the same concept, is equal to lines, but they have sometimes they are using expressions, not instead using lines, they are using expressions, the word, but expressions does mean lines. Okay, so they would ask you that find out the expressions or lines or the words from the passage which are indicating this theme. So at that moment any other answer is not expected from you, but just only you have to write lines, actual only lines from that passage you have to carry on here. So verb activity or finding that sentence, expression, line. Second, A2, they would ask you that completion task, or they would ask you what do you get from this poem. So in this particular line, what is the meaning in this particular line you get, what is the message do you get from this particular line. So they would ask you such a sort of activity in inference. A3, personal response, I am not going to repeat, already I mentioned that. A4, poetic device. This is very interesting thing. Poetry, that why it is different from prosaic, because in prosaic definitely we can use poetic devices, but the rhythm, the rhyming and other things are mostly visible in poetry. Freelancing you would get of poetic devices in poetry, especially not in prose, but especially in poetry. Poetic device, what that mean? Alliteration, then metaphor, repetition. I think at 10th standard you have studied, but if you haven't, or even though you have studied, I will definitely teach you at the thorough level what is meant by alliteration and all. So don't worry about it. But poetic device, what that mean? The particular figurative language which is used by, figurative means high literary language, which is used by a poet to deliver his message towards the readers in very depth. To influence the people, he is using poetic device. To enhance the thought, he is using poetic device. Okay, so I mentioned some of. So what sort of pattern would be there of poetic device? That I will tell you. First one, they would ask you name and explain the poetic device in above line. They would give you the line and ask you that name and explain. That would be for 2 marks. No spelling mistake should be there, and also you have to write properly the explanation. Secondly, they can ask you that find out the example of that particular poetic device. This is second. So that sort of poetic devices activity would be there. Okay, Then A for activity, creativity, and that is very important one. You have to compose 2 to 4 poetic lines. I mentioned poetic lines of your own based on the given theme. They would give you this particular topic and you have to create 2 to 4 poetic lines of your own. That is for 2 marks, and total marking will be 10. So dear students, today we have done the discussion of activity sheet format, and that is half done. Tomorrow in the next lecture we are going to complete that. So up to now what we have seen today, that activity sheet format: question 1A, question 1B, then question 2A unseen passage, question 2B summary, and question 2C note making. And in question 3 also we have completed poetry section, and in that half section today we have completed. And I should take care of the time limit also, and hence today I am stopping myself here. We will complete the appreciation part of the poetry section in the next lecture. So I am definitely coming with activity sheet format part 2 in the next lecture of mine. Till that I have to take leave of yours. Students, stay home, stay safe. Bye.